Welcome to Crafting a Career in the Arts, The Inspirations. Have you ever wondered what inspired some of Edmonton's biggest art events and celebrations? In this series, we delve into the minds of the people behind some of Edmonton's largest and most iconic festivals and spaces for the arts to find out what inspired not only the event, but those who run them. Join us as we look into the history of the art scene and speak with those who help make the arts possible in Edmonton about who they hope to inspire. Welcome back to part 2 of our look into the inspirations behind Edmonton's vibrant folk music scene. Chances are, if you have been to an arts event, music festival, gallery event, or other celebration of the arts in Edmonton, you have likely experienced the work and passion of Rhea March. Rhea is a live music coach, teacher, and promoter working tirelessly to elevate musical talent in our city. Not only does she lend her talents to live events, she hosts a weekly radio show on CJSR that encourages new musicians. She also hosts open mic nights throughout the city for anyone who would like to try presenting their music to a live audience. Then we'll hear from a gallery coordinator and manager of the Carrot Community Coffee House about how the arts association he works with supports the arts. And finally, we'll hear from a festival promoter and live music programmer for open mic nights about how he helps provide an opportunity for aspiring talent of any level to find an audience.
My name is Rhea March, and I live here in Edmonton, originally from Saskatchewan. What I do in the music industry is develop programs that help emerging artists be able to realize their dreams. And I guess that would be the simplest way to say that. And it's done through a myriad of different formats. Here in Edmonton, I've hosted a program on CJSR, which is campus radio, CJSR 88.5 FM, called It Takes a Village, and I've hosted it. I'm going into my 11th year now. It started because I wanted to have a platform for artists that are emerging, people that maybe audiences would know or hopefully not know, and be able to connect them. So on my program, I get to work with the station engineer, Miles Wilkinson, who is I think a 6-time Grammy-nominated producer and has Junos under his belt, and he's just fantastic to work with. So we have artists perform in Studio A, it's called, and Miles mixes it so that they sound like they're in the Windspear. I bring the artists in and give them an opportunity to have that experience of being on the radio and being interviewed, but also the experience of performing live on radio with someone like Miles at the helm, who is making them sound so good. And then I post the episode up on SoundCloud and share it on social media so that these artists have a way of connecting with new audiences. Because, you know, there's so much talent and it's just fantastic to be able to help them in that way. So that was the impetus for it. I named it It Takes a Village because I truly believe it does take a village to raise a songwriter. And I've also expanded to include not just emerging artists, but also very established artists come on the show as well and perform. And I love that because it offers a real mentorship, and my questions to these artists have evolved to where I know that there's people listening who want information about what does it take to write a song? What does it take to break into the industry? What does success mean to that artist that I'm interviewing? And that has helped really inspire some listeners to be able to take that information and apply it to their own careers. I really feel that what I'm doing with It Takes a Village has inspired others in the community to get involved in the arts because they're finding it accessible. You know, the beauty about community radio is that it is programmed by the community for the community. And so having free reign to be able to program the show, I'm also able to highlight venues in Edmonton and spend time talking about them, people that are presenting music. Also bring in people that work in the industry in other areas. So maybe visual artists or artist managers, artist promoters, people that we hear the names of what they are, but we don't often understand what they do. So it helps to expand the community even further by shining a light on various types of artistry that's going on and the players behind the scenes that make it all happen. I would say that the people that I'm hoping to inspire with the work that I'm doing, in particular on the radio show, is the singer and songwriter who's sitting at home thinking, I could never do that. And I want them to know, yeah, you can. You put in the work, you get to know the community, you get out to some of the open stages or, mixers that happen in Edmonton. Yeah, you can do it. And that's the point. That's why I do this, is to let people know that if you can begin to believe in yourself and find support within the community and get to know that community, then you can do anything. The joy that I derive from being able to bring the arts to diverse spaces and expose the arts to various audiences, I don't know that I can even describe it. It's just a feeling of fulfilling a purpose, if you will. The arts and community are so interlinked, and the arts has a chance to bring community together. Community supports the arts. And so when we are actually able to let people know about this symbiotic relationship between the two and have them actively involved, whether it's as a fan, as a performer, as, whatever it happens to be, it's so intimately linked together. And so to be able to open people's eyes to what is out there and give people an opportunity to support it in their own loving way, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful marriage.
Next, Rhea shares what inspired her to start the School of Song stage program and how the program has evolved to its current state.
What inspired me to begin the whole program was that I knew that I was a musician and an artist from a very early age. And I went out on the road when I was, as an artist who was touring around, when I was in my 20s. And the thing that I struggled with the most was stage fright. I had crippling stage fright. I had the kind of stage fright that felt like I had swallowed gasoline and it's gone down into my stomach. And it really impeded how I was able to grow as an artist. In particular, I don't mind sharing this because I'm very open about it, but I turned to alcohol as a way of coping. And that progression took down my career, I would say, because I was stagnant. I wasn't able to get past it. When I came in off the road, I was in my early 30s, and it was just a few years later that I went into recovery. And today, I'm almost 30 years clean and sober. And what I saw around me early in my career was exceptional talent that was rising up, that had the same struggles that I did, that didn't believe in themselves, didn't have that authentic confidence, and that maybe were turning to substances to be able to find a way to feel false confidence or get them up on stage. And I realized that if I had someone to be able to put their arm around my shoulders when I was in that situation and say, hey kid, there's another way to do this. I can help you understand the job and responsibility of what it is to be a performing artist without the need to succumb to crippling fear and then try to mask it. So that became my focus. And then I started studying live performance. And as the years went on, I began working with CKUA radio. And at that point, I saw exceptional talent rising up. Like, I'm talking in high school, mega talents. Part of that was because my own son, who is Trevor Mann of Scenic Route to Alaska, was one of those exceptional talents that I saw rising up. We also had, Michael Ralt and Kaylee Thomas, Billy Zizi, to name a few. All of these kids, and Samantha Schultz and Emily Schultz, Joe Nolan, these kids rising up with no direction. And a lot of them, maybe no confidence. So as I began to study live performance and the art and what goes into it, I also saw this talent rising up, and I developed a show for CKUA called U22. And it showcased some of these artists. We brought them in. Then it evolved to where I reached out to Terry Wickham at the festival, because he was running a stage at the festival that was an open mic, and basically an open stage. And so I said, Terry, would you consider, instead of having a stage that's just used for an open stage at the folk festival, would you consider giving these young rising talents an opportunity to perform on stage and get that experience and exposure? And Terry, in his brilliance and wisdom, said, yeah, sure, let's try it. So we tried it, and here we are 14 years later, still with the program. When it started, it was called U22. It's morphed into the stage is called the School of Song stage. And it morphed because at one time, we just had performers that were 22 and under. But we also realized that it was really important to be able to be more inclusive than that. And so now we're able to have artists that are older and get a whole mentorship thing going on and educate them, give them exposure, and it's been phenomenal. We've run, in the 14 years, we've run like close to 100 performers through there that have gone on to amazing careers in the music industry. You can find me at the White Avenue Art Walk in the gazebo every year presenting artists. I'm partnered with the Flying Canoe Festival and present artists there on the Cafe Croissant stage. Kaleido Festival and Arts on the Avenue have been huge, and of course they do Chalk It Up Festival and as well. And another one is Bonnie Doon Art Walk. It's called Night of Artists. I work with the Canmore Folk Festival, the same thing, the School of Song, and just there's so many little tentacles out in the industry, and so many partners who have been so supportive over the years. And thanks to them, the artists that I'm bringing through are able to get more exposure, gain more experience, find more fans, and be inspired to continue their careers. When I first started working with the festivals and other venues, there really was not any other place for emerging artists to be able to find a place to perform, find that inspiration. And it's fantastic now because there's so many, all ages venues and all that kind of thing. But when I first started, there wasn't. And so I think being a bit of a visionary, as many artists are, we see what is missing, and then we look for ways to build it. And that's exactly what happened with me. And as a result of shining a light on some of the exceptional emerging talent that was rising up in Edmonton, it gave venues and other arts organizations the inspiration to go, oh, hey, yeah, they're really good. They deserve a place to play. And so we started seeing a pop-up or an emergence of all ages venues that could provide a platform for these exceptional emerging talents. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have been at the forefront of that. I don't know that a lot of people realize that that is kind of how the evolution started to happen, and it doesn't matter. All that matters is that now there are those places for emerging and veteran artists to be able to come together and create a solid, sustainable community.
Rhea now shares some of the things she would like to try with her work in the music community and the important role mentorship plays for upcoming artists.
In the work that I do, I've been inspired a lot by artists who have come before me, mentors. What I'd love to do is create even more of a mentorship model within the work that the School of Song is doing and what I'm doing. So by that, I mean putting veteran artists with an emerging artist on stage and letting them collaborate. I think that drawing upon the success, and sometimes or not success, of artists who have come before us gives us a chance to be able to build again and maybe build better. We're always going to make mistakes, and without mistakes, nothing happens. There's no growth. So we learn from our successes and our failures of the past, and we apply it to what we're doing now so that we can succeed and fail in new ways and inspire the next round. What I'd love to do is more events within the community, maybe working with the community leagues to actually present, emerging artist days in their communities. Because it does all start with a community. There's exceptional talent that rises, and they're the kind that get, the opportunities to play things like the Edmonton Folk Festival. But maybe that's not for everybody. It's just about nurturing whatever talent we have inside of us. It doesn't mean you don't have to have a gold record and a record deal and a manager, blah, blah, blah. It's about finding joy inside yourself by being involved in the arts, by expressing yourself in the arts in whatever form. As a singer and songwriter myself, I have been so inspired by the community that happens within our arts here in Edmonton and beyond. But, I've hosted an open stage, the Sunday Song Stage in Edmonton, for almost 17 years now. So that was a big part of my whole story and part of how I started to recognize the exceptional emerging talent, as well as having them come out to my all ages open stage. And what I've seen happen as a result of that, the Sunday Song Stage, is people get to know each other through coming out and being part of it, whether they're performers or whether they're in the audience. And this unshakable community develops. It's all of those things that go into having people feel like they're part of something greater than just themselves. And I love it. I don't know when I'll ever stop hosting the Sunday Song Stage. I'll probably be in a walker going up to introduce people, because I love it so much. And I love the friendships that I've been able to make. And my song stage is where I find a lot of the emerging talent that I then bring onto my radio show and consider working with for the Edmonton Folk Festival's School of Song Stage. So there's a real opportunity there as well. But, people will come out to the song stage and they will be terrified, or they will perform a few songs, and I see the love that is given back to them by the community, and it lets them know that, yeah, they can. Yes, you can do this.
Like so many artists, Rhea's musical inspirations began at a young age. Rhea now discusses her early experiences with music and how they came to shape her career in the arts.
When I was a little girl, my dad had a band called the Buckaroos in Saskatchewan, and they used to practice in the basement, and I would lay on the heat register in my bedroom and I would listen to them playing down there. And there was something inside of me, I just knew it stirred something within me. And I think I wrote my first song when I was 10 or 12, and my brother was a big influence for me too, because he was playing guitar and he showed me some chords. So I started messing around with it, and I just knew I have to do this. And when I started to do it myself, performing for a living, I didn't have all of the tools to be able to do it successfully, to allow me to be successful at it. And so that has inspired me to ensure that if someone is working with me or I'm helping them develop their career in some way, that they do have access to those tools or people that can help them. My wheelhouse is live performance, helping an artist understand what their job is when they're on stage, helping them understand that it's not about you, it's about the audience. And if we can let the artistry come through us and reach and extend to the audience, and then it feeds back, then that's our job. Yeah, I very much understand the anxiety that an artist experiences when they go on stage. It's a very humbling experience, because one of the reasons is because artists hesitate to call themselves artists or musicians. And I will often tell them, equate it to a sporting event. If you're playing on a sports team and let's say you're the quarterback, do you call yourself a quarterback? Of course you do. And do you do the preparation as a quarterback? Know every play that's going to happen. Know what your responsibility is. Practice throwing the ball and visualize it. That's same kind of thought process needs to be applied to what we do as musicians, because it is the same kind of a thing. We have to give ourselves the opportunity to embrace the fact that we are artists, we are musicians, and we have the right to be on stage. We belong on stage. I always say that great performances are well crafted, that you know what you're going to do from the time. It's like a choreography of what you're going to do. Spend time visualizing it, just like great athletes do. And improvisation comes from within a well crafted performance. And I've seen over and over and over again what nerves and not having the knowledge and the support will do to an artist. And once you start to understand how everything works, then you can relax into your performance, and those nerves start to melt away because you're armed with what you need to know to be able to do not just good performances, but to be able to provide consistently great performances. That's what I'm all about. That's why I do what I do. I want to help people get there. As a songwriter myself, I have had the opportunity to grow my own craft as a result of working with songwriters who are established and songwriters who are coming up. So there's a community there, and we support each other. But I tell you what, the number one thing is, and especially coming out of COVID, there are so many live music venues that are now working and operating, and they operate to be able to present artists and give them a place to play, whether they're local or touring musicians. And they can't do it if we don't get out and support live music and support these local venues. I live for being able to help cultivate more audiences for venues, whether they're the smallest of venues or the Edmonton Folk Festival, and it's about providing a platform for these artists, but the platform doesn't exist if the venue doesn't exist. So these places in Edmonton, like the Aviary or where I'm currently running my song stage, Rooster Kitchen on White, there's so many, Soho on Jasper, they exist solely to help an artist succeed by giving them a place to play. But it doesn't work if we don't get out and support it. So please support your local venues, support your local artists. buy their merchandise, sign up and stream their music, follow them on social media. It matters. You matter as an audience member. You are the ones who decide how far this artist gets to go.
Next, we will hear from an artist who is passionate about promoting other creatives in his work as a gallery coordinator and manager. He discusses the inspiration behind his work and what inspired the music and art programs created by the not-for-profit he works with.
So my name is Edwin Aquino, and I'm the manager and gallery coordinator at the Carrot Arts Community Coffee House and Arts on the Ave. The Carrot is the heart and soul of Arts on the Ave. So it is the center hub of our nonprofit organization. And actually the name of Carrot draws inspiration from Paul Cézanne. So the Carrot is a volunteer-powered nonprofit organization where we host a bunch of variety events. So we have Toast and Jam, we have Friday night live music, jazz club, hip-hop night. We also have open mic and arts workshop. So Arts on the Ave started 19 years ago with a group of artists from our community, including our executive director, Christy Morin. One of our goals was to bring different art forms together for community betterment. Started at grassroots and volunteer power. Throughout the years, we tried to build a community. We have different multicultural businesses are really connected with communities. So we also host 2 main festivals. So we have the Kaleido Family Arts Festival that we host during fall, and we have the Defreeze Byzantine Winter Festival that we host in January. Having our regular programming, our open mic, our Friday night live music, and our Thursday Jazz Club, it creates a place where we can have local artists to showcase their talent and creating a safe space for them. Having a place where we showcase the local artwork and artisan and also live music, people in our community became more curious and they become more inspired of these different talents in our city. And having that inspiration starts that conversation how they can actually be part of our artisan and also be part of our performance for either our regular programming or in our Kaleido Family Arts and our Defreeze Festival. So Defreeze Byzantine Festival is a winter festival that happens in midst of January. So it's the first festival of the year in Edmonton. And we showcase a lot of ice sculptures, different winter festivities such as street hockey, and also doing a bunch of programming to celebrate the indigenous culture, the Creation culture, and different variety of different culture as well. Kaleido Family Arts Festival happens in middle of fall, and we create a place where we have performances in the streets, also different activation for installation that anyone can participate in, and also live performances at the Carrots and inside our community league. I started as a volunteer, and as a volunteer I was in school as a visual artist that was seeing the festival and different programming that Arts on the Ave hosts throughout the year. And with my knowledge, I was able to start curating and collaborating with different artists as well. Having arts as part of the betterment of community, and also having that aspect of the humanitarian as well, helping the society to be involved and everyone in the community be engaged with these beautiful projects that we host throughout the year is something that I believe is really fulfilling. So that's why I started being part of the Carrot and the Arts on the Ave team. Working with different artists and collaborating, especially during the festival and the installation and during the gallery, gives me so much hope for providing that platform for anybody in Edmonton that wants to showcase their art, and also their installation.
My name is Bill Worthman, and I'm I guess a volunteer and a part of the programming crew here at the Carrot Coffee House. And I host an open mic here, and I coordinate some of the other open mics. And I also do a little thing here called Toast and Jam on Thursday mornings. And I act as the stage manager and host for the two big festivals here, the Kaleido Family Arts Festival and the Deep Freeze Festival. I think one of the great things about what we're doing here on the Avenue and here at the Carrot Coffee House is providing a venue where people can come in and experience and listen to music, live music, normally free of charge, especially during the big festivals. And I think if I'm an artist, and if I'm a struggling artist, or if I'm an emerging artist and I'm trying to see what my future might hold, what better opportunity would there be to see it than what we're doing right here on the Avenue? As an artist myself, I think it's great to have a venue. It's great to have a platform, I guess would be the best way to put it, to put my art out there. And my art happens to be music. I'm a singer-songwriter. I like to get my material listened to by as many people as possible. If you put restrictions on who can come and listen to my music, that's going to affect me negatively. So to be able to be as open here as possible, to be free, if you want to put it that way, gives me an opportunity to get my word, my message out to as many people as I possibly can. The open mics that we do here on Saturday nights, and there's a revolving door of hosts. There's 5 of them that I have the honor of coordinating, including people like Rhea March and Braden Gates and a couple of others. So the new and emerging artists that are coming in to play the open mics get an opportunity to showcase their material that they're not going to be able to get a gig. They can't call the folk festival, or they can't call a record label and get a record deal, and without at least getting some exposure, having some people exposed to what they're doing. It also gives them a chance to hone their craft, getting in front of a live audience and having a live audience sitting there listening intently to what you're doing and what you're presenting is a difficult thing. I think what we're doing here to the whole open mic compared to the rest of the open mic scene is different, in that a lot of the open mics that are out there throughout Edmonton and throughout the area are done in bars, done in noisy environments. They're done in places where people aren't necessarily listening to what you're putting out there. So to be able to come here and play for an audience that's intently sitting there listening to exactly what you're putting out there, you can't get that experience just anywhere. We're very fortunate to be able to provide a place for people to get that experience right here. In addition to the open mics that we do here, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways that people can get exposure to what we're putting out there. And it's also another avenue, no pun intended, for artists, upcoming artists, to go beyond the whole open mic thing, because the open mic is a stepping stone. It's the first step for a lot of people in that stepping stone, but there are other stepping stones. There's the Friday night music that we put on here. There are a couple of hundred different positions for artists to perform at the various festivals that we put out there. This is a great stepping stone for them to go from the open mic, and if they've developed their skills, and if they've got the skill set, and if they've got the talent, then they can apply to have their arts taken up to the next level, whether it be a performing art as a musician, or as a dance troupe, or as a a poetry reading or as an author, a visual artist, whatever it may be. One of the nice things about the open mic here is not just the people that come here to perform, but the people that come here to listen. And because they're coming here to listen, they're very encouraging to emerging artists. I've seen people come up here that have never, ever spoken into a microphone or sang into a microphone. They have equipment, they have a guitar that's never been plugged in, or they don't know if it's got even if it's got a pickup in it. And they get up on the stage, as small as it is and as humble as it is, but it's warm, it's inviting, and everybody in the audience will encourage that person to grow to the next level. Sometimes it's obvious that they need growth, and that's okay, because they're going to find that growth in the response that they get from the audience. They're going to be able to take, hey, I got up here and I played a song, or I sang a song for the first time. Maybe it's my own song, maybe it's a song that somebody else wrote, but I put it out there and people listened to me, they applauded, they encouraged me. I don't know if you'll get that at every open mic, but you'll certainly get it here. One of the things that I've enjoyed is coming here and getting a little bit of a different experience from what my normal role in the music world is. And my normal role in the music world is my wife and I, 25 years ago, founded the Northern Lights Folk Club. And we're still running it today with a crew of 35 or so volunteers. And it's been a wonderful experience in its own right, but this gives me a different avenue. So the Northern Lights Folk Club is an organization that we've been running for 25 years. We present touring artists in a community league setting. So I guess similar to what you would get at the Carrot Cafe, Carrot Coffee House, except it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more, it's kind of a step up. It's a professional. We get touring artists. We have Juno Award winners. We've had Grammy Award winners. We have people from all over the world, mostly Canadians, but we get people from England and Wales and Australia, all kinds of places. Again, touring artists that are looking to do the same thing that we do at the Carrot Coffee House, but in a bigger scale. Professional, we've got sound, we've got lights, we've got a great stage, we've got the best sound man in the business, and it's a wonderful experience. We do about 10 or 12 shows a year. Saturday nights, the venue seats about 200 people, and it's a great experience.
Over the past 2 episodes, our journey has taken us from the city's largest music festival, where we learned the inspirations behind starting the Edmonton Folk Music Festival and the inspirations of its producer, Terry, to Rhea, who helps new artists become performers and promotes them, to the Carrot, where someone can begin their musical career in Edmonton. Our city's vibrant music scene starts on humble, open mic stages like the Carrot that welcome all levels of talent, and from there, the path unfolds through the work of Bill, Rhea, and others like them that can take ambitious artists all the way to the Folk Music Festival, where they may even rub shoulders with their idols.